welcome to Karla's Clever Crafts. Today I am going to be doing a tutorial on this very special combined breast cancer awareness Halloween wreath. We have the witches here, the breast cancer pink awareness ribbon, and it says in October, even witches wear pink. Thought this was adorable, and we've got some nice little orange pumpkins mixed in with our pink. I have been wanting to do a pink and orange Halloween design for a while, and when I seen this sign, I just had to have it because I knew that this was the one that I was going to want to do in the pink and black. Going to be doing something a little different tonight with our ribbons when we get to that point. But let's go ahead and get started. And I will tell you guys at the end where I have gotten all of my supplies. This is a 14-inch wreath frame. This one in particular is from the Dollar Tree. With their price increases, you might find that you can get a similar deal to the Dollar Tree prices now at $1.75 at Craft Outlet. I think they have a 14-inch frame for about $2. And if you purchase from them and get their discount on a regular basis, then the price comes out to be about the same when you consider the shipping cost too. So that's just something to keep in mind for your wreath frames. I'm probably going to be switching over from the Dollar Tree to Craft Outlet frames. I'm going to order a couple and try them out to make sure that I like them first. So I'll get back to you guys on that. But I was doing some research on that today and thinking seriously about doing that. Okay, so let's talk about our pipe cleaners. I'm using the Krafts method, which I use on a large number of my wreaths, the majority of them. And when I do Krafts, I wire my 14-inch frame with 18 pipe cleaners. I do 6 on the inside, 1 in each section on the middle 2 wires. And then I do 12 on the outside 2 wires, and there's 2 per section. So if you want to, you could just take a screenshot of this and save it for later to refer back to for how I lay out my pipe cleaners for this particular design and for the majority of my Krafts wreaths. Sorry, my throat is dry. Okay, so we're going to, like I said, we're going to be doing pink and orange. I'm so excited about it. I've seen other wreath makers do pink and orange designs, and I just really like the 2 colors together. So I'm going to be using this pink poly mesh as well as this orange metallic mesh. Okay, so we'll move our frame to the side. I am going to start, I think, with the pink poly mesh and make our first Krafts. Grab my scissors to use for a holder. Okay, so you want to just lay your mesh out with the curl side up. And you're just going to roll and make a curl on this end. With the poly mesh, it tends to fray more than most other types of mesh. I still love using poly mesh because I like the vibrancy of the colors. This pink poly mesh is one that I use really often. And basically all of the colors of the rainbow as well, I buy this poly mesh in. It's also pretty substantial, so it's nice for making a full, thicker wreath. But because it does fray more than others, you want to make sure when you make your curls on the end of your Krafts that you are getting your ends here tucked in and that you're rolling your curl nice and tight. And the reason for that is so that these ends will stay curled and keep all that cut edge underneath and protect it so that it doesn't fray once you put it in your wreath. Okay, I'm just going to put a clip there. I'm going to turn that away from me. Do the same thing on the other end. I'm folding over about a 1/2 inch using my pinkies to hold down the ends. And then I'm just going to roll or fold it. And I usually do 4 or 5 times. Make sure these little ends are tucked in and that everything is nice and protected. I want to turn my curls face down for this design, I think. And scrunch right up the middle. Or should we do face up today? I don't know. Most of the time I do face down because it's an additional protection for any cut edges that might peek out from around your curls whenever you add your mesh and everything else to your wreath. So maybe we'll just go ahead and stick with my typical routine and do face down to protect those curls. Okay, so I'll put the finished edge to the inside and the outside, and you can just start with any one of the pipe cleaners. We're going to lay the mesh in all the same way today for this design. Now we're going to do something different, as I mentioned, but that's going to be with the ribbons. So we're going to go ahead and do these Krafts. I'll show you again how to do one, and also wanted to talk about the metallic mesh. The metallic mesh is some of it, it depends on what type you get. Some of it is thinner than the poly mesh, which is the case that I have with this particular orange mesh. But if you get like the wide foil or the wide metallic mesh, it is a little thicker and a little more substantial. The metallic mesh does still fray, but not as bad as the poly mesh. Still, because it does fray a little bit, I do the same thing when I make my curls. And just keep all the ends and everything tucked under. Roll it nice and tight so that it stays curled. Now here we have a little piece sticking out. I'm just going to take a second and push that back in so it stays protected. And then turn and do the same thing on this end. Okay, nice, small, tight curls. Make sure your ends are in. Curls face down for some extra protection. Scrunch up the middle. And then your Krafts will look kind of like a bow or a butterfly, I guess you could call it. And we're just going to place that right in our next pipe cleaner. Make sure you pull these tight. This is going to form the base of our entire wreath, so we want to make sure that this is all nice and sturdy. We're going to add ribbons to our pipe cleaners, so don't cut those off yet. We'll just keep working around and adding the mesh. I have the rest of the Krafts here already pre-made, so I'm just going to start laying them in. And as you can see, I'm just going to use the pattern of pink, orange, pink, orange. We're just laying them here next to each other. You will, at this point, be able to see some of the frame between the pieces of mesh. Don't worry about that. We're going to fix that later when we add the ribbons and everything, okay? So, like right here, you can see the frame a little bit. That's going to be okay when we get done. Okay, so go ahead and pull these to the outside so I don't miss any. I've done that in the past, so I try to pull them out early on in the process and not miss any. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead real quick and go around and lay in all 18 pieces of mesh. The mesh is cut to 18 inches long. You need 18 of them, 9 pink, 9 orange, and both of these are 10-inch wide mesh pieces. Okay, so I'll be right back as soon as I get that done. Okay guys, I have all of the mesh pieces added. I am just loving the orange and the pink together. You guys let me know what you think of these two colors together in the comments. I am really just loving the warmth of the two together. And I think it is going to make a super cute breast cancer awareness Halloween combined wreath. Okay, so I realized when I was finishing up the mesh that in the beginning I forgot to prep my sign. So I'm going to go ahead and take my dab rapid fuse glue, put a drop up here at the top, drop at the bottom, doesn't take very much. And then I'm going to use my cable mounts. I use these for all of my signs now. If you've watched me for very long or any of my earlier tutorials, I have evolved through numerous different ways of attaching the signs. I used to hole punch them and attach them with wire, all different types of ways of doing it. Cutting a piece of ribbon and then gluing it over top of the pipe cleaner on the back. In the beginning, I had a very, very, very limited budget. So buying cable mounts and things was kind of like a luxury I couldn't afford. I know that sounds silly to me now, but at the time it was the truth. So, but now my business has grown a little bit, and so I'm able to get some things that make my life easier, and that's what these cable mounts do. I sell wreath kits in my shop, and you can buy like just my sign, just my ribbon bundle, or you can buy the complete wreath kit. If you get the complete wreath kit, it comes with the frame, all of the pipe cleaners that you need, and it does include these little cable mounts, which are just very, very, very helpful. Okay, so I have them there. I've pressed them down for a few seconds for them to start to set up. I'm going to just lay it to the side and let them finish. And then we'll talk about the ribbons that we're going to be using. I found this very, very, very cute pumpkin ribbon. Let's see, the pumpkins have on witches hats, which I thought was perfect to go with their sign. We have some spider webs, we have spooky looking trees in the back, a spider, and then we got like polka dot pumpkins and a little bit of pink glitter sprinkled in there. So I just thought that it paired so adorably with our design on our sign. And to me, for my primary ribbon, that's always very important. And then the other piece of this wreath that we're doing is the breast cancer awareness. So I also want to use some of this pink, and it's got like a darker pink and a white for the ribbon or pink ribbon awareness. So these are going to be, and this is what I'm doing different tonight. I most often use 4 ribbons, different ribbons, and sometimes 3. But tonight I'm going to try this design with just these 2 primary ribbons, and I want to see how it turns out. Okay, so let's start putting them on, and we'll see what this is going to look like. So we still have 18 pipe cleaners on here. In some of my designs, I cut some of these off and only use 12 of them. But tonight, I think I'm going to go ahead and use all 18. And we're going to put 1 piece of ribbon in each pipe cleaner. Okay, so we will need 9 of the Halloween and 9 of the breast cancer awareness. Okay, which is what I have cut up here. And then I've already dovetailed the ends of most of them. I know that I saved a few here. Another thing, if you order my kits, the ribbons come like this, pre-measured to 12 inches. So when you go to dovetail your ribbons, you can just simply fold them in half on the end, like you see me do in most of my videos. Line up your edges and your corners here, and then just cut at an angle from the folded side up toward the wired side. And then you can dovetail multiple ribbons at the same time. Turn to the other end and do the same thing. And then you've got all of your ribbons are pre-measured, and you've dovetailed all of them at one time, or several of them at one time. Okay, let's move these out of the way. And let's go ahead and start. I'm going to put the pink on the orange. So when I add these, I'm just going to lay it on the table in front of me. I'm going to V it back towards myself like I do most of my ribbons. So it just kind of looks like this. And then I'm going to start on an orange piece of mesh. And I'm just going to lay this in here, pull my pipe cleaner tight, give it a couple good twists, and snip it off. Remember to leave yourself about a 1/2 inch to fold down and squeeze so that your ribbon is good and secure. I like to be able to pick up my wreath by the ribbon and know I can even shake it, all these things, and I know that that ribbon is going to stay on there. So make sure that you're getting those real tight. Especially if you're selling your wreaths or even giving them as gifts or whatever. You want, if something's handmade, you want it to be quality. Okay, so now we're going to do a Halloween. Okay. And scrunch in the middle, V it back towards ourselves. Okay, so just like that again. And then we're going to place these straight down on the pink. And we're going to just work in order in all 18 of our pipe cleaners all the way around. Now, I think I want my ribbons to kind of look like they're swooshing around the frame, if that makes sense. So I'm going to adjust them so that they're kind of V-ing sideways. Okay, we'll do several of these together so you can kind of see what I'm saying. And then when you see the final result, you'll understand what I mean by swooshing around the wreath. That's probably not the right way to describe it, but okay. So now we need to do the pink again. V it back towards ourselves. Lay it down in our pipe cleaner. Twisting very tightly. I even keep pulling on my pipe cleaner as I twist to ensure that it's twisting on there tight. Leave yourself a ½ inch or so, fold that down and give it a good squeeze. And then I'm just going to adjust these so they're kind of going to the side. And then I also curl the tips of my ribbons down. If you're first time watching, you might not know that. Okay, and then we're going to do the Halloween. So we're only doing 2 ribbons. We're going to just rotate between the breast cancer awareness and the Halloween. I was having trouble seeing. I'm trying to make sure that I have these ends back here even as possible. Another thing that you could do to make sure that you have them even is fold the ribbon in half to find the center point. I'll do that on the next one to show you what I mean. Okay, so now we'll do the breast cancer awareness. You can line up your tips and just kind of give it a little crease. I wouldn't give it a great big crease, but just enough so that you then can see where your center point is. And then you can just scrunch right up the middle there and know that if you fold it back right where that crease was, your ribbons are going to be even. Okay, and we're laying it in on top of the next one, which is orange. Snip this off. Okay, so I am going to just very quickly finish going around the rest of the pipe cleaners all the way, repeating the same process: breast cancer, Halloween, breast cancer, Halloween, breast cancer. And I will be right back, and you guys will see what I mean by the swoosh, and then we'll attach our sign. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I have all of the ribbons on. So just to recap, we used 18 different ribbons, 9 of the Halloween, 9 of the breast cancer awareness. Each ribbon is cut to 12 inches long. And I put 1 ribbon per pipe cleaner. And hopefully now you guys can see what I meant by like how the ribbon just looks like it's swooshing around the wreath. I think that this is absolutely beautiful. This design turned out just exactly as I had hoped it would. So I'm very happy with that. We do need to attach our sign. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So we'll need 2 pipe cleaners for that. We already have glued on our sign mounts. We're just going to feed these through. You can do side to side or top to bottom because these sign mounts have holes on all 4 sides. I mix it up. You'll notice that I do it different ways, different times, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. I haven't found that one way is better than the other. I think they both work fine. Okay, and so then I just want to make sure my sign is centered as best as possible. And I don't want to mash none of my pretty little curls down. Okay, so we're just going to feed it down through between two pieces of the mesh, wrap around the inside two wires, pull down slightly on the side, but not too tight because you don't want to mash all of your pretty mesh that we just put on there. And then just twist the two ends of the pipe cleaners around each other until your sign is really tight and securely on there. Well, you don't, not tight here, but the pipe cleaners are tight. And then push those ends up inside so they don't scratch your door or somebody else's door if it's a gift or you're selling. Okay, we're going to come down here to the bottom and do the same thing. I always, once again, double check, making sure I'm centered top to bottom, left to right. And then just pull this down through here. Again, to those inside two rings. Now, if this is an 8-inch sign that I'm attaching, if you're using a bigger sign, you might want to use the middle two rings or the outside two rings, depending on the size of your sign. But for this 8-inch, those inside two rings work the best. Just going to turn this over real quick to show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going around these two inside rings here with my pipe cleaner. If I can get a hold of it here, I'll show you. So one above the top bar, one below the bottom bar, and then I'm pulling slightly, but not too tight so I don't mash my mesh pieces. And then I'm just twisting. And I twist and twist and twist and twist because I'm a fanatic about making sure that things are secure and won't fall off. And then just push the ends of that pipe cleaner up inside so that you have a smooth back and the wires won't cut or scrape somebody's door. Okay, there that beauty is, you guys. I am just loving this combined breast cancer awareness Halloween wreath. I did not originate combining these two. This was not my idea. I came across this sign. Speaking of which, real quick, I need to tell you where I got the supplies. I do have 2 kits available. I will be listing those in my shop. Actually, they're, by the time you guys see this, they'll probably already be listed. But I do only have 2 plus this wreath. So I can either make 3 wreaths or I have a wreath plus 2 kits. Otherwise, if I'm sold out or you would rather purchase the supplies yourself instead of having the convenience and time savings of a wreath kit, this sign I got from Amazon. This Halloween, the breast cancer awareness ribbon and the sign came from Amazon, as did the orange metallic mesh. This mesh was part of a bundle that I got, and I got a really good price because I bought the bundle. I recommend that you get your orange metallic mesh along with your pink poly mesh and this Halloween ribbon from craftoutlet.com, which is where I got my pink mesh and my Halloween ribbon. 14-inch frame is from the Dollar Tree. I buy all of my pipe cleaners from Amazon. They have them on there like 3,000 in a box, and I buy them in bulk because I make so many wreaths throughout the year. It's much more cost effective for me to do it that way. They do also have smaller quantities if you don't want to purchase that many, but you get a huge variety of colors, which is something that I really like. Okay, I think I have covered it all. My next project is going to be, my next tutorial will be, I'm going to use 3 grapevine wreaths to make a pumpkin, and we're going to decorate the pumpkin with ribbons and florals. So if you're interested in that tutorial or you like my tutorials, please subscribe to my channel so that you will be notified when I upload new videos. And if you would please like this video and share it for me, as it does help me grow my channel so I can continue to bring you guys free videos and content at no expense to you. And that's it. I hope you guys have a great day, and I really appreciate you watching my videos. Let me know what you think of this one in the comments. Thank you.